Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S exam prep. My name is Naveen, and today I'll help you out to prepare a study plan for your LRDI. There are exactly 210 days to go, right, for CAT. So, what all things are required in order to make sure that you get 99 percentile or a 99.5 or 99.9 percentile in LRDI. So, it's not that you have to complete the syllabus. It's not that you have to take care of all the varieties of topics. It's that you have to build a strategy. Okay. So let's first of all understand the number of questions and everything. So I will hide myself so that you guys can see. So if you look at what was the level of paper in the previous CAT exams, what you will find is in CAT 2022, there were a total of 20 questions, out of which 14 were MCQs and 6 were TETA. The total marks was 60 and the time allotted was 40 minutes. So we are talking about LRDI section, right? In CAT 2021, there were 20 questions, there were 14 MCQs, 6 TETA, 60 marks, 40 minutes. So since the paper has changed, it has been since 2021, what you can see that the way the section was divided as per the number of MCQs and number of TETA questions, it has remained consistent. Okay, it has not changed. Before that, way back in CAT 2020, there were 24 questions, out of which 18 were MCQs and 6 were TETA, and 72 marks were there. So of course, I believe everybody knows that you are awarded 3 marks for every correctly answered question, right? So 24 into 3 will result in 72. And the time allotted was still 40 minutes. So CAT 2020 LRDI was relatively easier as compared to CAT 2021. So if I consider this to be difficult, CAT 2020 was easier and this was moderate, CAT 2022. So this year, on 26th of November, when CAT is going to happen, if the number of questions are going to stay 20 in LRDI section, it's going to fall in the same category as the last 2 years. But if the number of questions, let's say if it increases to 24, then the TETA questions will remain almost the same, 6, 7 or max 8. MCQs will remain somewhere around in the same ratio. Time allotted will be same, but the level of difficulty of the question will become easier. So you will have to prepare your LRDI section based on both of these types, because unless and until you are the notification is not out as to how many questions will be there in each of the section and overall in the paper, what will be the duration of the paper, we have no idea how to go about it, right? So having said that, your strategy is to solve as many questions as possible of easy level difficulty and moderate level difficulty. Difficult type of sets you should never touch. You should never solve. You should try to solve it, but you should not try to understand how the process goes, because in the exam, it's really not a smart move to touch any difficult level LRDI set. Okay. So what was the set wise breakup? Okay. So how many sets were there and how many questions were there in every set? So if you look at 2022, the last year, where there were 20 questions, the DI was 0 questions to 4 questions. Okay, so these are number of questions. Why 0 questions? Because in slot 1, there was not a single DI. Well, in the case of LR, there were 4 sets, then there were 5 questions each. So that will make up a total of 20 questions. So first set ke 5 questions, next set 5 questions, and so on, right? Okay. In CAT 2021, when there were 20 total questions, number of DIs were 4 questions, as in there was 1 set of a DI in every slot. Well, for LR, the breakup was 6, 6 and 4, 4. So you will find that there is a huge contrast between the last 2 years LRDI section of CAT. So you had set number 1 with 5 questions, set number 2 with 5 questions, set number 3 with 5 questions, set number 4 with 5 questions. This is the year 2022. If I talk about the year 2021, set 1 had 4 questions, set 2 had 4 questions, set 3 had 6 questions, and set 4 also had 6 questions. Because of the inclusion of these 6 question sets, the paper was a difficult one. Because whenever the person who is setting the paper, when they are going to give you a 6 question set, that is definitely not going to be an easy set. Reason being simple, if somebody attempts an easy set and is able to solve 6 questions easily, that will give that person a lot of edge. So these 6 question sets were generally moderate to difficult ones, while 4 question sets were easy to moderate ones. So anyone who was able to solve the 2 sets with 4 questions each and a single set with 6 questions each definitely was able to capitalize on 99.99 or 100 percentile. If you look at 2022, since every set had 5 questions, so each set was from easy to a little above moderate. Not difficult, I would say, पर moderate या moderate से थोड़ा सा higher level था. So the selection of sets was not because the set was a difficult one, but it's rather more about how much you are comfortable with while solving that set. So selection of sets was easier last year as compared to the year before that. If you look at CAT 2020 and the years before that, the number of DIs had been more and LRs had been more also. So way back in 2017, the number of LR as well as DI questions were same. 2018 onwards, the number of DI questions had been decreasing and the number of LR questions had been increasing. It has become so much that DI has completely become obsolete. In the first slot of CAT 2022, there was not a single set of DI. That means CAT is moving towards LR-DI section, which is majorly LR, and there is very, very less of DI. So DI बहुत important नहीं रहा अब पहले के comparison में. ठीक है? If you look at the previous year trends, you never know. This year you may get 2 DI and 2 LRs, which I believe is going to be very, very, very less possibility of happening. But you never know. The CAT may change the pattern. Okay. Also, the DIs that you get nowadays, those are not just calculation based DIs, those are more logic based DIs. Okay, so usko reasoning based DI bolte hain. Now the reasoning based DIs are of 3 types. One is pure reasoning based DI, second one is arithmetic based DI, and the third is algebra based DI. As in, you will have to bring in quant as a standard DI has been, or it could be a pure reasoning based DI. If you complete 2 sets, that expected cutoff of logical reasoning will be. Sayed, there is no cutoff. Bhai, there is no cutoff. In CAT exam, there is no pass and fail. Okay, this is very different from other exams. See, out of 10 questions, if you solve only 1, and you was the person who was able to solve even 1 while others were not able to solve a single one, you are the topper. So it has got nothing to do with this score कि मेरे को 200 नंबर आ जाएगा तो मैं टॉप कर जाऊंगा. नहीं, you can top when you get even 100 marks. Please understand, percentile is very different from your school and college percentage. So it's not about cutoff. There is no cutoff in CAT. Okay. For college selection, there are cutoffs, but those are cutoffs not as per the scores. There is no cutoff as per the questions, but there is a cutoff as per the percentile, which is again very different from what you think it is. In IFT exam, yes, you have sectional cutoffs as per the score and not percentile. But CAT में ऐसा नहीं होता, कभी नहीं रहा. Okay, so in a room, if there are 5 people, and out of those 5 people, if one person is smarter than the rest, I don't care if that person is smartest in the world. उस room में smarter है ना, that is good enough for me to say that he is the winner. Okay. So let's talk about score versus percentile, as in what score do you really need in order to get a certain percentile. So if you look at CAT 2022, the recent one, so if you remember, total marks is 60. Out of 60 marks, if you had scored 33, 34 marks in the last CAT, you will get a 99.5 percentile. So you can't attempt all the questions. You can't solve all. Attempt to kar loge, tukka marne mein kiska kya ja raha. But you won't be able to solve all the questions correctly. Okay, it's impossible. No one has ever done. You can't do it. Nobody will ever be able to do it. Ki 4 sets solve ki aur charo sahi nikle. Not possible. The paper is made in such a way that nobody on earth can do that. It's all about who does the most. So your target has to be able to attempt and solve correctly somewhere around 12 to 13 questions out of 20 questions. So if you are able to do 12 questions out of 20 questions that you had in CAT 2022 or 2021, aap topper ho. Reason being that within 40 minutes, this is very good. Please understand, if you're not able to complete something, if you're not able to finish your homework, if you're not able to do some task within the given time, that doesn't mean you are inefficient. It simply means that the time awarded to you was not enough. Okay, so if I ask you to write a proper A4, take an A4 sheet and fill it up with 300 words. You will be able to do it. Every person is going to take different amount of time, different minutes. But if I ask you to do in 5 seconds, that's insane. Nobody can do it. But within those 5 seconds, somebody will be able to write 1 word, somebody will be able to write 3 words, somebody will be able to write 5 words, right? So it's about that. So the paper that is being formed, it's generally that a person will be able to solve all the 4 sets somewhere around in a time limit of 50 minutes to 1 hour. So 40 minutes mein nahi possible hai. Okay? So 33 or 38 questions. So like I said, 2021 was, it had 4, 4, 6, 6 questions. So 6, 4, 4 karne pe, as in if you are able to solve 14 questions, ek do galat bhi hoga, you will reach up to 38 marks. So it was easier to solve more questions there, even though the paper was little difficult as compared to last year. But last year ke according, it was just 33 marks. Okay. For a 99 percentile, you just need 29 marks. So if I convert this into how many questions you need to solve, so for CAT 2022, you needed 11 questions to solve correctly. Here you needed just 10 questions. Here you needed just 7 questions. Here you needed 6 and here you needed 5. Out of 20 questions again. 20 questions में से अगर आपने केवल 7 कर लिया ना, 95 percentile आ जाता है. Means not even half of the total questions you have solved. So why is that people are not able to solve even 7 questions or 10 questions out of 20 in CAT? Is it like the paper, isn't the sets are very difficult? Is it like the time taken to understand the set is a lot? No, it's not about that. It has got majorly to do with how you perceive things, what kind of person you are, what kind of attitude you have. So the very first thing that you need to be is to be selective. You can't solve the very first set. It's not compulsory. I mean, you can, you can't. I mean, it depends how good you are at that topic from where the first set has come. Okay. If it is the DI, almost everyone can solve the DI set. Okay. People generally are not able to because they don't practice enough. Okay. So you have to be selective and rejective, as in you should be able to reject the sets. So you look at the first set, you have no idea what to do about it, so you let it go. You don't solve it. Okay. ऐसा नहीं है ना कि this is like a video game where you don't cross a particular level, you are not allowed to move over to the next level. That's not how things happen here. It's about solving all the questions. As many as you know, or you know that you will be able to do. It's not about solving each and every question in the section. Okay. The second thing is being patient. So patience plays a huge role. People, they panic very quickly. The moment you are not able to solve the first two sets, or anybody who's not able to solve the first two sets, they're like, मेरे बस का है ही नहीं, मैं fail कर गया, I'm done for my life, I'm good for nothing, and all of the things. Who said that if you're not able to solve the first two, you won't be able to solve the next two? It's the attitude that is important. You need to be patient. अगर आपके लाइफ में फर्स्ट टाइम में कुछ नहीं मिलता है तो आप गिव अप कर देते हो पूरे लाइफ से? नहीं. The exam is made in such a way such that students who have that attitude to never give up and let go of the things, both of them simultaneously. A little contradictory, but you should know exactly where to let it go, and you should know that once you let it go, it doesn't mean you are not going to try again. That means you should never give up, right? So the attitude is the issue over here. The third reason why LRDI it sounds and it becomes difficult is because it's right after VARC. So if you look at the paper, how the paper is structured, the first section has a lot of reading, a lot of comprehension, understanding whatever is written, right? So you have got RCs, you have got parajumbles, you have got inference-based questions. So a lot of reading and comprehension part exists, and a lot of logic exists. In those 40 minutes, the brain uses a lot of its stamina to solve questions, okay? And then comes the LRDI part, which uses not as much of comprehension, but it does use a lot of reading and a lot of logic, okay? So because of that continuous run of 1 hour and 20 minutes, which is 80 minutes, you almost get exhausted right after 1 hour. So only the first 20 minutes of LRDI is when somebody is very, very up to his mark or is very efficient. So the very first set that you should select should be the one where you know you will be able to solve it, where you know that you have solved a similar set before. Only try to find that one first, okay? So because it's right after reading and comprehension, that's where the LRDI is an issue. The fourth reason why LRDI is again an issue, because people do not, aspirants do not solve enough number as in while practicing, of course. So while you are studying for LRDI, when you are solving questions of LRDI, when you are writing the mocks, when you are preparing yourself to write a mock, to write the exam, how many LRDI sets should you be able to complete so that you are very good at in the exam? So the thumb rule is you should have solved somewhere around 75 sets of DI. Around means plus minus 5 will do. Because the moment you are done with 75 sets from the books that you have, from the online material, from the previous year papers, from the mocks that you are writing, the day you are done with around 75 sets of DI, there is not a single DI that you won't be able to solve. Because 75 sets will cover almost all the possibilities. Agar aap 50 karoge, that won't be enough. For 50, you will be good with certain types of sets. You will be very efficient, you will be very fluent, your calculation will be good, but it's not necessary that you may have covered until then all the varieties. Also, one very important thing, there is no syllabus for LRDI. Jaise ki, I can tell you that in algebra, you have got these 13 topics. In DI, there are infinite topics. In LR, there are infinite topics. So if you are thinking, if you have this mindset that I will be able to cover the entire syllabus of LRDI and then I will start writing the mocks, ये आपके पूरे lifetime नहीं होने वाला. You need to be born again, still it won't happen. You need to be born again and still it won't happen. So I have been teaching for over 20 years now. I still come across a lot of sets that I have never seen in my life. And you will have now a pretty idea if I teach thousands of students every year. So मैंने कितने सेट्स देखे होंगे सोचो, पर मेरे को अब भी नया नया सेट दिखता है. And this is true for everyone who teaches LRDI. So there are unlimited types of questions, whether it is DI or LR. But the application part, or be able to quickly grasp as to how to proceed, that exists. Those are kind of limited. Okay? How many LR sets that you need to do so that you are good enough, as in you have, a good amount of hold over LR? You will have to do a lot. You will have to do around 200 sets, 200 to 225 sets. Okay? So 225 leta hu, so that the number is easier. So the moment you are done with 300 sets, I'm not saying you should be able to solve all the 300. I'm saying you need to attempt. Give time to each and every set. Give 10 minutes, give 15 minutes. Sometimes some sets will take half an hour. Koi problem nahi hai. While you're solving a set for half an hour, you will realize that whether it is doable or not. You will find it interesting, maybe. Once you find a particular set interesting, next time when you come across a similar set, you know exactly what to do. तो पहली बार जिसको करने में half an hour लगा, next time नहीं लगेगा. Why do you think your mom is able to cook food? She is able to make chapatis so quickly. And if when you try it, you take almost 3 times of her time. It's all about practice, right? हर दिन करोगे, speed बढ़ जाएगी. बिल्कुल बढ़नी है. There is no doubt about it. So anybody who has practiced, done 300 sets, will be always in this category. लिख के, done, DILR will be there. That person is not going anywhere. That person will never get a 96 or 97 percentile. And you have enough sets if you pick up the mocks, if you pick up previous year CAT papers, 2000 onwards ही, उससे पहले का नहीं. If you have a book that you are referring to, if you are attending the classes, in the classes the faculties may be telling you, teaching you, these are the sets, and of course they are different from the mocks that you're going to write. So 300 sets उधर cover हो चुके होते हैं almost. ठीक है? It's very easy. Suppose, for example, BYJU'S mock. So if we have, let's say, 35 CAT mocks, ठीक है? And each mock has got 4 LRDI sets. So 140 sets तो mock से ही हो जाएंगे आपके. Out of these 140 sets, you will realize that 40 sets was something you were never able to solve. And you really don't want to spend so much time in the actual exam. Then if you have the books, for example, if you have the BYJU'S books, you have got another 100, 120 sets over there. If you are attending our lectures, so in every lecture we have got 4 to 5 LRDI sets that we do. Okay, we do generally 3 to 4 and then 1 is the homework, right? That's how we roll. So in 25-30 sessions, you will be able to do another 100-120. So केवल हमारे mocks, class sessions and books करोगे तो आप 300 नहीं, 300 total नहीं, 350 करीब you will reach only LR. DI भी हम उसी में covered हो जाएगा, है ना? So there will be, you will have eventually access to 300 sets. It's all about you need to be patient and reach there. Okay, this may sound very theoretical, but this is the experience of teaching over 20 years now. Okay, a student who thinks that if I do only 50 mocks, if I solve only or if I practice only 50 sets of LRDI, I am going to be a master. Never gonna happen. You will always come across some question or the other which you have never seen before. So your idea should be, you should be doing as many varieties as possible. Easy, moderate, difficult, that should not be your concern. Time कितना देना है उसका भी टेंशन नहीं लेना है. Okay? Now, which are the areas that you need to focus? So in the data interpretation, these are the types that you need to focus. And in logical reasoning, these are the types that you need to focus. Okay? Now, some of these topics may be little confusing to you कि sir Venn diagram तो reasoning का part है, Yes, it's a part of reasoning, but there are calculations involved, so it may come under algebra-based DI or arithmetic-based DI. Okay, so it's more about the topics. So if you look at DI, the tables, caselets, bar graph, line graphs, pie charts, and this one, they have been the major part of DI of CAT. Hamesha se. And when it comes to LR, arrangements, games and tournaments, puzzles, they have been very, very, quick now. I mean, very, very common now. Roots and networks and order and ranking. And then we have, should I include? Okay. So we have got grids and matrices and scheduling. This is also another topic that has been given by CAT in the recent years a lot. So the ones that I have tick marked, those are very important. I'm not saying the others are not important. These are more important than the rest. And DI mein standard wale. So CAT doesn't give you very random DIs. They give you the DI charts that you are already aware of. So Gantt chart is a very less chance of it appearing in CAT, or let's say even a box and whisker graph, कम चांस है उन चीजों का. ठीक है. So what should be the steps involved? So the first step is to focus on basics. Okay. So for the month of April to May, okay, so for the next 2 months, you should be improving your calculation speed and accuracy. So if you have started your preparation abhi, let's say March se shuru kara hai, so next 2 months should be solve a lot of questions related to percentages, ratios and averages. In other words, arithmetic. बहुत करना है मतलब दिन के 500 भी कम होंगे, इतने करने. You have to do so many questions without using calculator, using your pen or doing an approximation, so that you reach to that level of accuracy. ठीक है. You should learn a lot of shortcuts that are used a lot. For example, multiplication of two numbers, 7 into 3, 21 plus carry. Vedic maths वगैरह वो सब की जरूरत नहीं है. ठीक है. Don't waste your time following it. It will just give you the confidence, but it's rarely going to be applicable in the exam. Because unless and until you have not been doing something, especially in maths, for the past 5, 6, 10 years, तब तो कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आएगा ना. आप कितना भी शॉर्टकट याद कर लो इसका, पर एग्जाम में तो करोगे यही भाई, क्योंकि इसमें कॉन्फिडेंस है, इसमें नहीं है. But there are certain shortcuts that if you remember, if you use it, you will be more accurate over there. For example, rather than doing this, what if I write this as 20 plus 3 into 20 minus 3? So it depends on the values, right? So you have to very much keep your eyes open to get to the answer quick. Now, this is the type of shortcut that you can do orally. 23 into 17 can be written as 20 square minus 3 square. ये आप orally भी कर सकते हो. और यहाँ पे calculation ही कितना था? Just a difference and a square. Think about the number of calculations you end up doing when you multiply them. There are going to be nothing short of 6 calculations that you have to do there. 7 into 3 first, 7 into 2 next, carry third, 1 into 3, 1 into 2, there is no carry, and then you have to add 3 columns. बहुत calculations होते हैं उधर. ठीक है? So you need to improve your calculation speed and accuracy. This will help not only in the case of DI, but some DI based reasoning as well as your arithmetic. Learn approximation techniques. For example, if you have to do, let's say 21.1 into, let's say 7.3, आपको ये करने का है. ठीक है? And you look at the options, of course. You don't look at the calculation that you have to do and start calculating. No. When you reach an expression, look at the options. Suppose the option or the question says nearest to. तो इसको approximate कर लो. Make this as 21 and make this as 7 and say कि ये 147 से तो ज़्यादा होगा भाई. है ना? कितना ज़्यादा? I don't know. Look at the options then. Convert values into something that you are more confident with. Suppose had this been 7.8, तो instead of 7 I'll be changing that to 8 क्योंकि 21.1 I have decreased, so 7.8 I have increased, right? So my answer is going to be somewhere around 168. Around 168. Is it more or is it less? I have no idea. Is it 167 point something or is it 168 point something? नहीं पता मेरे को. पता हो भी नहीं सकता until you actually multiply them, right? So these approximations are very, very important so that you do not fear maths, the calculation part, right? Now, practice basic DI sets. Basic means table based, जहाँ के addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, average ratio चाहिए. Bar chart, line graphs, scatter diagram, table based, like I said. You have got radar graph, you have got mixed graphs. ये सब के basics practice करना शुरू करो. Come for the first 2 months, okay? And when it comes to LR, you should understand what are the basic topics. See, LR दो type है. एक basic structure है, and then they can be topped up with a lot of varieties and a lot of different logic. ठीक है? So I can have a sitting arrangement question. So that's a basic structure. But in this sitting arrangement, if I involve, some of them are facing inwards, some of them are facing outwards. If I talk about their genders as well and how they are related and what profession do they belong to, I just made a sitting arrangement question from an easy one to a moderate one. Now, from that moderate, I can make it difficult by saying that there are 12 people sitting around it. Khatam. The amount of the number of parameters and the number of rows that you will have to draw if you convert that into a table will be huge. केवल लिखने में structure, basic structure, it will take you a minute or two. So not worth solving. Why? मेरे से solve हो जाएगा. Give me an hour, I will be able to solve it. But exam point of view say that's not worth solving because it will definitely take a lot of time. So you need to understand the basic structure or the basic topics of logical reasoning. Okay. ब्लड रिलेशंस के टाइप आपको करने होंगे. ब्लड रिलेशंस इज नॉट वेरी कॉमन और इट्स नॉट इवन कॉमन इन कैट. ब्लड रिलेशंस इज आस्क्ड इन अदर एग्जाम्स व्हिच आर स्पीड बेस्ड, फॉर एग्जांपल IFT, SNAP, NMAT, MHCT. Okay, not in CAT or that. Okay, the next one is directions. Same, it is true for all the exams except for CAT and ZAT. Arrangements सभी में आता है. Linear, symmetrical, as in a line, in a circle. Groupings. So you have got, you have to form a team, you have to form a group, or you have to select people so that you can divide them into 3 groups, 2 groups, ऐसे वाले questions. ठीक है? Venn diagrams with 2 or 3 sets at most. 3 maximum. 3 से ज़्यादा वाला नहीं करना है practice up to until the next month, as in May के end तक. ठीक है? So, the step 1 is only for the next 2 months. You need to build up your base. Basic strong karo. Okay. Next step is for the next 2 months. Okay. So April, May है, तो ये May से ही शुरू कर दो आप, ठीक है? Because I believe that you won't be taking proper 2 months to do all of the approximation techniques, basics of LR. वो सब ना 2-2 दिन में एक टॉपिक हो जाता है. हाँ, in order to gain a bit of confidence and improve your accuracy, you may solve it for the next 2 more days. पर 4 दिन भी एक टॉपिक करोगे, there are not enough number of topics that you need 60 days to solve it. तो मेरे हिसाब से in 1.5 months at most you will be able to, you know, get a good grasp over the first step. So second step, you should start somewhere in the mid of May and until June. Now you will improve the level of difficulty of the sets that you're doing. Okay, so you need to practice higher level DI sets. Higher level DI sets matlab a set which has got a table, let's say, with a lot of values missing. So you have to use logic to find out how to figure out those missing values. Okay, if you are talking about graphs, then there are 2 graphs. One is a line graph and let's say another is a scatter diagram. And try to understand how the graphs are related. तो आपको थोड़ा level बढ़ाना होगा, ठीक है? And whatever you were doing in the last 1.5 months, from April to May mid, those calculation techniques, those practice of concepts of arithmetic, don't leave it. Keep on doing it. 1.5 months practice करने से you won't remember it for the next 6 months. That's not going to happen. ठीक है? Higher concepts and levels of LR sets. So basic के बाद अब higher level difficulty पे आते हैं. What are those topics of LR? Puzzles, very important. What type of puzzles? Is it like what is my name if my name starts with an O and ends with an O? And you use me as a dressing on food. ठीक है? ऐसे वाले puzzles नहीं कि word play उधर हो रहा है. It's more about visual puzzles. For example, you guys may have heard about it or played Sudoku, Magic Squares, Minesweeper, board games, chess, right? So majorly the type of problems that are board games based or sometimes based on tournaments like cricket, hockey. Okay, there is no excuse that you say that I don't like cricket. Why should I study it? Well, you don't like cricket. Why are you expecting a 99 percentile? Because if they are going to, if there is going to be a question on games and tournament, बहुत ज़्यादा chance है कि वो cricket या football से related है. They don't care if you watch it or not. When you are solving questions on quant, suppose a question on time, speed and distance, where two trains are passing and you need to calculate how much time they take to in order to cross each other. कभी स्टेशन पे जाके बैठ के ये काम करा है? नहीं करा है ना. तो इस तरह से तो आप सारे क्वेश्चंस को वो कर सकते हो कि नहीं मेरे को आई डोंट नो हाउ टू सॉल्व दिस, आई हैव नेवर डन इट, आई एम नॉट इंटरेस्टेड, व्हाई शुड आई सॉल्व दिस क्वेश्चन. सो ईगो विल नॉट टेक यू एनीवेयर. सो इफ यू आर नॉट गुड विथ cricket or football, hockey, these all games, you guys should start reading and watching about them. Suppose in a question of games and tournament, if they ask you what is the bowling average, कैसे करोगे कैलकुलेट अगर नहीं पता बॉलिंग एवरेज का फॉर्मूला कैसे करते हैं? पीपल हु वॉच IPL और क्रिकेट फॉर्मेट्स a lot, they would know exactly how to do it. They know exactly what NRR are, right? They know exactly what extras are. They don't have to read the passage in order to understand कि क्या है उसका डेफिनेशन. वो उन्होंने वर्ड पढ़ा, उनको पता है क्या बात कर रहे हैं, बाकी लोगों को समझना पड़ेगा. So that's where the discrepancy is going to happen. So you should be very good with puzzles. Solve a lot. Pick up Shakuntala Devi's puzzle. Okay, pick up George W. Summers' puzzle book. Solve them. Arrangements and groupings, same as the previous one, but level of difficulty higher. ठीक है. Venn diagrams, force sets and maxima minima वाले, as in advanced set theory questions. Games, like I said, cricket and football and all that. Tournaments, round robin, knockout, league matches, किस तरह के tournaments की बात कर रहे हैं? If you, whatever I have just said on this slide, if it sounds Greek to you, that means you are very, very far away from, a 99 percentile or even a 95 percentile as a matter of fact. अगर आपको वहां जाना है तो आप, you will have to get comfortable with all of these. Okay. What is the next step? So step 3 is testing. Whatever you have read, whatever you have solved, how much, the amount that you have solved. So you have to test, do the analysis and improve. This has to be done in the next 2 months. So no matter what, by mid-September actually, you should be get done with all those 300 sets that I said before, DILR मिला के, a lot of approximation techniques, a lot of varieties of questions. So if I talk about mid-September, right now the March is over, today is April 1st. So the entire April month, you have got May, you have got June, you have got July, you have got August, you have got September mid. So that's another 5.5 months, right? So in 5.5 months, which is going to be approximately 165 days. Approximate. 165 days may, if you are supposed to solve 300 sets, plus techniques of calculations as in approximation, percentages, averages and all that. Don't you think every day you have to do 2 sets no matter what? आपकी तबीयत खराब है, अच्छी है, पार्टी करने जाना है, ड्राइव कर रहे हो, एग्जाम है, doesn't matter. You will have to take out an hour or maybe less or maybe more. every day for LRDI. इसके अलावा कोई और रास्ता नहीं है. So when people ask, sir, how much time do I need to spend to get a certain percentile? Here is your answer. Time? I don't know. Some person can do it, solve the sets within 20 minutes. Some will take 2 hours. Depends, right? Set पे depend करता है, person to person depend करता है, topic पे depend करता है. तो आपका target 2 sets per day. Number of hours? No. Okay. I'll tell you why is it important to complete the entire thing, whatever you can, by mid of September. देखो पूरा तो cover September तक कभी नहीं होने वाला. But whatever I am telling you, whatever we are discussing, that you can cover up to September. Okay, so you need to practice basic, intermediate and advanced. So advanced level अब शुरू करना है. By June, you will be doing only basic and intermediate, as in easy to moderate level questions only. Okay, do a lot of analysis and get rid of the mistakes that you do. There are generally 2 types of mistakes students do, aspirants do. One is calculation mistakes. Solve करते 7 into 9 को 63 की जगह 53 लिख दिया. Right? 13 into 7, sometimes people end up writing, suppose 93. Okay? So you should, I mean, those types of mistakes nobody can improve on. Even if I ask you to go slow, तब भी improve नहीं होने वाला. So calculation mistake is something that in some mock or in some set you will do a lot, in some others you won't. तो ना वो exam temperament होता है basically. ठीक है? The second type of mistake that people do is when they are reading the question, they don't know which topic it is from, so they don't solve it. Second, even if suppose they don't know, so suppose they do know which topic it is from, they don't know which formula to put. This happens a lot in the case of geometry because people have no idea. वो सारे properties रट लेते हैं. They learn all the properties by heart. They look at a question और एक एक करके सारे properties hit and trial. This is like trying to shoot a dart at the bullseye when there is no light in the room, when you are in a dark. तुक्का मारना, एक एक प्रॉपर्टी ऐसे ही फेंकते जा रहे हैं. सर्किल का क्वेश्चन है, सारे सर्किल के 7-8 प्रॉपर्टीज 12 प्रॉपर्टीज जितने भी है सब एक एक करके लगा रहे हैं, क्या पता क्या लग जाए. So you end up wasting a lot of time and sometimes the properties are not applicable to those. A square inside a circle will only have limited properties that has to do with cyclic quadrilaterals, right? So do proper analysis and identify mistakes. So इसका process ये है कि you study, you write mocks or topic tests or sectional tests, you do the analysis and then you go back. Study again, write the mocks, do the analysis, go again. ठीक है? अब स्टडी तो आप कर चुके हो बाय जुलाई नहीं जून तक ही हो गया आपका, तो है ना. मॉक्स शुड happen whenever they start. So it may start in the month of April, it may start in the month of May and so on. So अभी जैसे हमारा BYJU'S का mock will start in the month of April. So April से you will start writing the mocks. You will do the analysis. The analysis should be a proper 2 hours analysis. ठीक है? Do the analysis and then go ahead and study as per your analysis. For example, you solved questions and you realize कि you were not able to solve questions on Venn diagram. तो कोई नहीं, go and study Venn diagram. Practice a lot of questions. Next time when you write mock, you may get a set on Venn diagram again. You should be confident that you are able to solve it. तभी तो improve करोगे, piece by piece. Okay, so improve in the next test. So this is the process. This is how you continue. Now, what happens after mid-September? So mid-September to mid-November, the last 2 months is all about previous year questions, finding out shortcuts, devising strategy for mocks. मॉक्स ऐसा नहीं है कि एक मॉक लिया और कर दिया. बहुत स्ट्रैटेजी चाहिए. When, how many questions you need to solve, which type of questions you should leave, which topics you should leave. You will have to devise that strategy. Without strategy, योर स्कोर विल नेवर बी कंसिस्टेंट. कभी किसी मॉक में दिया और 89 90 परसेंटाइल आ गया, कभी किसी मॉक में 95 आ गया. इन द वेरी नेक्स्ट मॉक यू विल गेट a 60 परसेंटाइल. इतना फ्लक्चुएशन क्यों है जी? बिकॉज यू डोंट हैव a strategy. If the paper was easy, you attempted a lot of questions, you got a 60 65 percentile. Hold on. If the paper was easy, how did you get less? Because it was easy for everyone. Okay, I'm not saying exactly 95 से 65 पहुंचोगे, पर कम हो जाता है because it was easy for everyone. If the paper is difficult and if you have practiced and if you have prepared well enough, your overall percentile is going to rise most likely. ठीक है. सो पेपर थोड़ा मॉडरेट या डिफिकल्ट होता है ना, सो सीरियस स्टूडेंट्स दे हैव एन अपर हैंड. एंड अगर पेपर इजी हो जाता है ना, तो सीरियस स्टूडेंट्स दे डू नॉट हैव एन अपर हैंड, क्योंकि जो सीरियस स्टूडेंट्स नहीं है ना, वो भी काफी क्वेश्चंस कर लेते हैं. सो यू डू नॉट रीच दैट परसेंटाइल दैट यू वर एक्सपेक्टिंग. ओके, सो पेपर मनाओ अगर आप सीरियस हो, कैट के लिए प्रिपरेशन सीरियसली कर रहे हो, कि पेपर शुड बी मॉडरेट. या सो स्ट्रैटेजी in order to write the mocks is very, very important. And if you go through our channel right now, you will see there have been a lot of sessions that have been taken on how to strategize your mocks. कैसे decide करोगे कौन से करने हैं, कौन से नहीं करने. Okay? So the next 2 months is all about this. Previous year questions, shortcut strategy for mocks and analysis. Mocks लिखना है, analyze करना है, फिर से mocks लिखना है, analyze करना है. Question arises, a lot of students do ask, sir, how many mocks shall I write? Well, to tell you, you should be writing minimum 20 mocks overall. कम से कम इतना तो लिखना ही लिखना है. And maximum there is no limit. Some people who write up to 20-25 mocks, they generate a lot of they have a lot of fun now writing mocks. They don't care about this course, of course, but they're like कि चलो mock लिखते हैं. I have 2 hours now free. चलो एक mock लिख के देखते हैं कि what type of questions I can deal with. So they're chilled out students now because they know what to do in a mock. So some of the students, they end up writing 50, 60, 70 mocks. अच्छी बात है ना? इतने mocks तो लिखोगे तो मतलब एक तरह से एग्जाम वाले दिन you will be like I'm writing a mock. You will be chilled. You won't be having any issue. So this is very important. ठीक है. If somebody says अरे 4 मॉक लिख लो बहुत है बहुत है 60 70 75 मैक्स 80 परसेंटाइल लाने के लिए, 4 मॉक्स से उससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं आने वाला. ओके, एंड इट शुड बी अ प्रॉपर ऑनलाइन मॉक और टाइम मॉक, नॉट अ की you will take out the printout of the question paper and then solve using pen and paper. That will never help. Okay, always write the mock whenever those are properly proctored. Proctored means जब live है तभी, जब live के बाद आ जाता है तो proctored नहीं रहता है. So don't attempt mocks in that scenario. So I'll just give you an example as to how to attempt a DI set quickly. ठीक है, what kind of approximations we deal with. So if you look at this particular set, we have the horizontal bars in the above diagram represent 2020 aggregate sales in rupees million of a company for the different subcategories of its products. So subcategories are bookcases, chairs, furnishings, tables, binders, art, appliances, envelopes, fasteners, and blah blah blah. ठीक है? Belong to furniture product category. Okay, sorry. The top 4 product categories, they belong to bookcases, chairs, furnishing, tables. Okay, so these 4 belong to furniture. So let's call it F. The bottom 4 product categories, bottom 4, they belong to technology product. Let's call it T. While all the other products, they belong to the subcategories office supply. So let's call it as S. ठीक है, confusion नहीं रहे. So S. For each of the product subcategories, so each type, there is a vertical line. So if you look at bookcases, so bookcases में ये एक vertical line है. Here we have a vertical line. Here we have a vertical line. There is a vertical line indicating the sales of that corresponding. ठीक है? Subcategory in 2019. So in 2019, bookcases were sold this much. And in 2020, bookcases were sold this much. So that means in 2020, the number of book cases, not number, the amount of revenue generated from the book cases was more in 2020 as compared to 2019. So once you have read the information given and relate the table or whatever graph is given to you, now it's your turn to move over to the question. So the question asks, what is the total sales in rupees million in 2019 from products in office supply category, and it is closest to. So office supply means we are talking about these, right? We need to find out 2019 ka, as in that arrows. So are we going to look at the vertical lines and then follow it through at the bottom and then find out कि भैया ये कितना आता है? ऐसे ऐसे करना शुरू करेंगे क्या? बहुत टाइम लगेगा. So that's wherein you have to be smart, and that smartness will come when you are going to be lazy. As in, if you pay attention, each of these is 0.5. है ना? So all what I'm going to do is I'm going to count those. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a little over 7. Remember, it's each of them is 0.5. So can I say 7 segments would mean 3.5 plus something? That plus something is this component. Okay, ये वाला. This is something. And remember, we are dealing with only 2019. So vertical line तक ही जाने का है. Okay, if you look at art, this is not even 1. So can I say this is a little less than 1? Right? Look at this. इधर तक ही जा पाया. इससे थोड़ा सा कम है. Okay, look at appliances. Sorry, 1 नहीं होगा, 0.5 है, right? 0.5 से थोड़ा कम. Let's look at the next one. Appliances. We have 1, 2, 3. A little less than 4. 4 segments means 2. A little less than 2, right? 2 से थोड़ा कम. So ये वाला. If you look at envelopes, this is the line which is again less than 1 segment, and 1 segment is 0.5. तो ये 0.5 से थोड़ा सा कम हो जाएगा, right? We are dealing with this part. If you look at fasteners, बहुत ही कम है. So this is 0 point something, not even 0.5, maybe 0.1, maybe 0.2, who knows? We are not being that accurate. So 0 point something, negligible. If you look at labels, so this is even half of the segment. So the entire segment was 0.5. So this is 0.25. Let's skip it exact. In case you will not be able to see me, I'm going to hide myself. Okay, if you look at paper, 1, 2, 3, this is precisely 3. That means this is exactly 1.5. If you look at storage, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, each segment is 0.5, so that is 4. And this is a little over 4.5. 4.5 nahi, 4.25, right? 4.25 से थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा है. And next one is supplies. So you have got 1, 2. 2 segments means 1 unit. So a little over 1. थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा. Now we need to add all of this, right? So we will take only the integral component पहले. So this is 3 plus 2, 5 plus 1, 6 plus 4, 10 plus 1, 11. So we are at 11 right now. Okay? Let's talk about the point part. So this is more than 0.5 and this is less than 0.5. So that's another one. This is a little less than 2. This is a little less than 0.5 and this is something more. So ये तीनों मिलाकर they will compensate each other. The values that it was less than 2 and less than 0.5 and this is more than 0 point something. So ये तीनों compensate करेगा, right? We can't be accurate, right guys? Even if I draw the line, how can I ever be accurate? How much does this represent? Is it 0.2 or 0.25? नहीं पता. So you won't be able to solve it. Now we have 0.25 0.25 and 5, right? So 0.25, 0.5 and 0.25. And remember, if you add these three, you will get a 1. But is 1 ke alawa, you have something extra here, something extra here. So can I say it's going to be more than 13? And more than 13, there is only one option. Now, this may look like very time consuming. No, it wasn't. It was time consuming because I was going slow. I was explaining each and every step. But actually what you had to do was write down the values by looking at it on the rough sheet that you are given and simply add them. Ek bar add kar loge, you'll get your answer. Right? Yeah. Hi, Ruturaj. So, please meet our CAT 2022 toppers. So these are our online classroom students: Vinayak, Sarojit, Smarth, Vidhi, and Puval. And there are many more. So we have tons and tons of students who have scored more than 95 percentile. Okay. So these are among the few who have scored 99 plus and around 99.5. So if you guys are willing to be one among them, if you want your photograph to be here next year, what you can do is you can join our comprehensive program for CAT 2023. You will be provided with more than 300 engaging videos, more than 200 hours of live classroom sessions, more than 75 mock tests with video solutions and attempts, more than 10,000 questions for practice, a lot of recorded lectures, doubt handling and everything related to exam and everything you are assisted with, not the form filling, but we do help you, know that when the form will be out, when is the last date, and also if there are some SOPs or something to be written, we proofread it for you, we help you with that. We will help you with your GDPI and VAT sessions. There will be some recorded, some live, and we'll help you with 4 books for you to practice in the offline mode and more than 5 years of previous year questions. All of this is applicable in our comprehensive program, the classroom program. This is online, okay? We do not have offline programs. In order to reach here, you can get in touch with one of our mentors. They will help you out with the process. All you have to do is download our app, and using that app, you can get in touch with one of our mentors. Okay. On 4th of April at 7 p.m., you can attend a session by, actually you should attend a session by Mr. Sarul Nashier. He is going to take a session how to manage CAT preparation with job or studies. He is also going to help you to devise a strategy, the one that I have been talking about, giving so much importance to it. Test taking strategy bahut zaruri hai. And if you guys have got any doubts or any queries, you can definitely ask him. He will help you out with that. Remember, there are limited seats. It's on first come, first serve basis. So make sure you attend this session. You can register it now. The link to registration is given in the description below. It has been already also been spammed in the chat. You can download our app, and in that you can brush up your basics by attempting quizzes. You get daily section-wise quiz. So you have got verbal VRC related, GK related, GK as in GA, current affairs. You have got LRDI based quizzes. You have got quant based quizzes. So all the types of quizzes are present. So please make sure you download the app and attend these quizzes. These all are free of cost. All you have to do is download the app and start solving. Thank you for joining, everyone. Make sure that you give a like to the session. You can subscribe us at BYJU'S Exam Prep CAT MBA. This is our YouTube channel. You can follow us on Instagram at BYJU'S_Exam Prep _MBA. You can like our Facebook page, which is BYJU'S Exam Prep MBA. You can join our Telegram channel, which is BYJU'S Exam Prep for MBA. And please download our app from Google Play. Thanks. Thank you, everyone.